Anita Mariam Jolly will be presenting on the topic Planning and Operational Aspects of Microgrids Embedded with Distributed and Renewable Energy Resources. So what is a microgrid? A microgrid is an electricity supply network which can work with the help of traditional energy resources, which is actually known as the connected mode. It has got another mode known as the island mode, where it can actually work autonomously. Now, the traditional sources of energy can be renewable sources of energy and non-renewable sources of energy. Renewable sources of energy have less carbon footprint. It also has very less harmful emissions in comparison to non-renewable resources. In non-renewable resources, there is emissions of carbon dioxide and global warming emissions, where the gases act as a blanket and trap heat, causing global warming, which actually harms the environment and people living on it. There have been cases where the people suffer from breathing diseases, heart attack, cancers, etc. because of the air and water pollution due to carbon burning. Renewable energy resources are abundant and replenishable and are less expensive in comparison to non-renewable resources. So, what could be the possible difficulties that the microgrids could actually face when incorporated with renewable energy resources? Renewable energy resources have an inconsistency of output power due to weather conditions. Say for the example of solar energy, there's a chance that clouds could come and cover the sun and reduce the output power. Same is the case with wind energy. The wind speed could be less for that particular day. So there is an inconsistency in the power. The second is actually the need for a control system. We need a control system to balance the power and voltage fluctuations in the grid. We also need an optimization system where it will actually incorporate the key factors such as the temperature, such as the cloud cover, wind speed, etc. We also need a control system for the battery in case where the battery system has to actually work for the island mode. When the workload of the battery is less, the life cycle of the battery is increased. Hence, we need a control system for the battery as well. So, the research design that I have proposed is a fuzzy methodology for the control and optimization. In the control part of the research, I have taken fuzzy logic controller and energy management system. And for the optimization portion, I have taken a fuzzy genetic algorithm and chaotic binary particle swarm optimization. Let's take the optimization model. So you must be wondering, what is fuzzy genetic algorithm? Fuzzy genetic algorithm is actually where it is a method where it obtains the parameters and structure set through a natural evolution. Now, so the chaotic binary particle swarm optimization, it actually helps in enhancing the solution with respect to a given measure of quality. As chaos is actually added in the search, the particles do not become clustered and have a more searching capability. Now, fuzzy genetic algorithm and chaos binary particle swarm optimization have been used in my paper to select the parameters that actually affect the output power. So the key parameters in the case of renewable resources had to be the surface temperature, the wind speed, the cloud cover where it can be high, low and medium. As there are multiple parameters to be considered, it became a multi-objective fuzzy model. Since fuzzy mathematics require a single objective, we have to convert the multi-objective to a single objective. Now, the fuzzy mathematics actually includes finding the optimal solution for each objective individually. Then the membership functions for each function again is calculated individually. after getting the membership functions, it's actually the maximum of the optimal function is actually compared with the constraints, and the value that you get is actually the optimum solution for the multi-objective fuzzy model. Now comes the control system. In the control system, we have a fuzzy logic controller. So what is fuzzy logic controller now? It's actually a control system where it will analyze the input values as a variable with continuous set of zeros and ones. We also have an energy management system. Energy management system helps in monitoring and controlling the transmission of energy. Now, as you can see in the figure, we have considered to find the total power of the microgrid. The total power of the microgrid is given by the value that we obtain from the genetic algorithm and the chaos binary particle swarm optimization, along with the net average power of the grid. This net average power of the grid helps in actually predicting the behavior of the grid. Then comes the additional function. The additional function here is actually the state of charge of the battery and the energy rate of change for the microgrid. So as you can see in the figure, the P average is actually the average power of the grid, whereas the PFLC actually considers the two parameters of the state of charge of the battery as well as the rate of change of the microgrid. Now, the advantages and disadvantages of the proposed method. The advantages were the simulations when taken prove that the average net power which we had calculated actually helps in understanding or predicting the microgrid's behavior while ensuring that there was no need for forecasting technique. So the need for forecasting technique is where the technique will actually take in the historical data and be able to give an idea as to what the next day requirements could be. But since we have done the net power of the microgrid, it helps in actually predicting the microgrid's behavior. And it also helps, because it helps to predict the behavior of the microgrid, it increases the lifespan of the battery, as the values that is actually inputted into the fuzzy logic controller helps in increasing or decreasing the power supply according to the constraints of the battery. Now, the second advantage is actually the instability due to weather conditions because of the surface temperature, the wind speed, everything has been considered in this paper, hence making it a more efficient system. The disadvantages of the proposed paper are the algorithm is sensitive to the initial parameters and conditions. Secondly, the battery sizing has not been considered. Thank you.